It's, hello. Hello, my lovelies. So, I would like to bring you to the witching hour with Twisted Rabbit. Today, we're going to talk about my favorite Mexican urban legend that I studied for a lot in Spanish class because my dad is Mexican, and that is the tale of La Llorona. Now, a lot of people don't care for La Llorona. A lot of people are scared to even talk about her. I find her story intriguing and interesting, and all of the things behind it that could possibly just be sorry, that could possibly just be. I don't really know. I find it amazing. I like the way it's done, and so yeah, we're gonna get on to that. Now, from what I remember La Llorona being, is my dad used to tell me about it. And just like the Kukui, his thing was always, bad children will be taken away by La Llorona. And I never understood what he was talking about when I was younger. Now I know. La Llorona is known as many things. She is known as, and foremost, the Weeping Woman, who there's many different variations of this story. Many terrible, terrible, creepy movies about it. Like the one that came in with the Conjuring series, and that is The Curse of La Llorona. Now, in Mexican folklore, La Llorona is a legend about a ghost woman who drowned her children and mourns their death for eternity. Like I said, there are multiple, and I mean multiple versions of this story. She has many different names, and I am very passionate about this because, like I said, she is one of my favorite Mexican urban legends. So, let's start off with this. I pulled up something so that way I don't get anything wrong because, like I said, I researched her a lot back in high school. That was a long time ago, and I haven't had a chance to talk about her anymore. So, here we go. Since the story says that a woman was unloved by her husband. I'm so sorry. The story says that a woman was unloved by her husband, who loved their two sons instead. She caught her husband with another woman and drowned her sons in a river, in grief and anger, and then drowned herself. She was refused entry to heaven until she found the souls of her two sons. She cries and wails and takes children and drowns them in the same river where she and her sons had drowned. See, the story I learned was that she. Hi. Sorry, guys, my sister doesn't like me talking about this, so I'm gonna wait. Because she is one of the many people that don't like hearing of her story or hearing her name. Isn't that right? Right. Love you too. Now, the variation that I learned of La Llorona was that she had two kids or two sons, and that she fell in love with this man who thought she was a very beautiful woman, but couldn't love her because she had kids. So she went and drowned them. And when she went to find him and tell him what he did, he was disgusted by her and turned her away. And then she went to the river to try and find her kids who had already been gone. And basically, drowned herself and spends eternity looking for them. That was the story I had learned. Now, from what this says La Llorona, the Weeping Woman, has been part of Hispanic culture since the 16th century conquistadors. There are many different names for her, and now here we go into her names. For example, in America, she is called the Woman in White. I've learned that one. And the Weeping Woman. Those are the two that I know the most. The origins of the legends is unclear. The multiple variations of the tale are consistent on certain points. La Llorona is a woman named Maria who was doomed to walk the earth in search of her children after she drowned them. And I believe that. My dad, he lived in Texas. And yes, we know it's Mexico where it happened, but my dad lived in Texas at one point. And if I remember correctly, he told me when he was younger, he was walking by a river and he seen this woman in white sitting there crying. And because, him being Mexican and already knowing the culture, avoided her. But he said she slowly came closer to him. And I'm assuming he was a teenager by this time, because he said she went right through him, and he felt this cold chill and turned around, and she was gone. She didn't try to drown him or anything. And I'm guessing it's because she wasn't around the age of her children. So, yeah. But it says in one variation, she was tricked by a demon who told her that her son's souls were lost, but that she would be granted entry to heaven if she found the souls and brought them to heaven where they belonged. The demon knew that her son's souls were already in heaven and that the woman would be stuck in the land of the living trying to find her sons forever, crying constantly for the sins she had committed. After a long time without finding her sons, her grief and desperation to just be able to die and be at peace caused her to start taking other children's souls by drowning them. Now that's some scary shit. I will admit, the two legends I am most afraid of are not American. They are Mexican, and that is the Cucuy and that is La Llorona. I know I am a 26-year-old adult, but I will always be afraid of La Llorona. She is things that haunt my nightmares. So now I'm letting her haunt yours. In another variation, a beautiful young woman named Maria lived in a rural village in Mexico. She came from a poor family, but was known around her village for her beauty and grace. One day, an extremely wealthy nobleman was riding through her village and stopped in his tracks. He had traveled all over the world, and he had never seen anyone as beautiful as Maria. He was mesmerized by her. He knew that he had to win her heart. Was easily charmed by him, and he was charmed by her beauty. So when he proposed to her, she immediately accepted. Eventually, the two married and gave birth to two sons. Her husband was always traveling and stopped spending time with his family. When he came home, he only paid attention to the children. And as time passed, Maria could tell that her husband was falling out of love with her because she was getting old. One day, he returned to the village with a younger woman and bid his children farewell, ignoring Maria. Maria, angry and hurt, took her children to a river and drowned them in blind rage. She realized what she had done and searched for them, but the river had already carried them away. Days later, when her husband came back and asked about the children, Maria started weeping and said that she had drowned them. Her husband was furious and said that she could not be with him unless she found their children. She drowned herself knowing what she had done, now spends eternity looking for her lost children in hell. She is always heard weeping for her children, er, hearing, earring, earning her the name. Sorry, this text is all weird. Earning her name La Llorona, which means the weeping woman. It is said that if you hear her crying, you are to run the opposite way. If you hear her cries, they could bring misfortune or even death. Many parents in Latin America tell this story to scare their children from staying out late. And trust me, works. I hear crying even now, and I run the opposite direction. If I hear screams or crying or anything, if I'm down by our river or if I'm just walking in the streets, but if I'm just walking in town and I hear random, because I love to walk at night. So if I hear a random cry at night, I will go the opposite direction. If it is in front of me, if it is behind me, I will keep going the direction I'm going, or I will go left or right. If I have a chance to, I will go the opposite direction. Like I said, I'm 26 and I will still avoid La Llorona to this day, even when I'm 60, because I believe in the paranormal. I am intrigued in the paranormal, and I will never doubt anything that this world has to show us. I believe in everything, and you should too. Now, says La Llorona kidnaps wandering children at night, mistakes them for her own, She begs God in heaven for forgiveness, but to get to heaven, she needs to find her children. It says that she's drowned the children she kidnaps, hoping she finds her kids. People who claim to have seen her say she appears at night or in the late evening by rivers or lakes, wearing a white gown with a veil. Some believe those who hear the wails of La Llorona are marked for death or misfortune, similar to the Gaelic Banshee legend. We're going to get on Banshees later. I hate Banshees, but yeah, we're going to get on Banshees later. Among her wails, she is noted as crying, Ay mis hijos, which translates to, O my children, or O my sons. It is also said she cries out, Donde están mis hijos? Mis hijos. Mijos. Sorry, I cannot. My dad is Mexican. I don't know that much Spanish, but I got the donde están. So give me credit here. Donde están mijos, which translates to where are my sons? She escapes the bottom of the river and lakes, she scrapes the bottom of the rivers and lakes, searching for her sons. It is said that when her wails sound near, she is actually far, and when she sounds distant, she is actually very near. Every time I've ever heard any crying or anything, it's far or near. She's been far. The sound's been near. So, yeah. Don't play with La Llorona. Now, we're on her origins. The legend of La Llorona is traditionally known throughout Latin America, including Mexico, Central, and South America. La Llorona is also sometimes identified as La Malinche, the Nahua woman who served as Hernan Cortez's interpreter and mistress. Let's not get on Cortez right now. I got some beef with him. Anyway, and bore him a child only to be abandoned so that he could marry a Spanish lady, although no evidence exists that La Malinche killed her children. Aztec pride drove La Malinche to act of vengeance. In the context, the tale compares to the Spanish discovery of the New World and the demise of indigenous culture after the conquest of La Llorona's loss, or conquest with La Llorona's loss. Before the Spaniards arrived in Tenochtitlan, I'm not good with pronouncing words, so bear with me. There were 7 ugly omens. The 6th of those was a woman screaming in the night, crying, Where will I take you, O my children? Stories of the weeping female phantoms are common in the folklore of both Iberian and indigenous American cultures. Scholars have pointed out similarities between La Llorona and the Tziocoatl of Aztec mythology. I can't pronounce that, so. As well as Eve and Lilith of Hebrew mythology. Author Ben Radford's investigation into the legend of La Llorona, published in Mysterious New Mexico, traced elements of the story back to a German folk tale dating from 1486. The earliest published reference to La Llorona occurred in a sonnet written by a Mexican poet, Manuel Carpio, in the late 1800s. The poem makes no reference to infanticide. Whether La Llorona is identified as the ghost of the woman who murdered her husband, or was murdered by her husband. Mexican culture and La Llorona. La Llorona's legend has seeped deep into the Hispanic culture. The forms of the tale are diverse due to the wide range of geographical distances that Hispanics have traveled. She deemed pathetic because her love betrayed her and then her children died. The tragedy in the Chicano culture portrays a woman doomed to walk the earth for eternity. Hispanics see La Llorona as an omen of supernatural danger. In Mexico, there are said to be ways to connect to La Llorona or to come to contact with her. One is to light a red candle in a room whose walls are covered in mirrors. If one chants her name while lighting the candles, she will likely appear. Other accounts tell of her appearing when children are misbehaving or near lakes and rivers in Mexico searching for her children. Now, I do have to say this. I do. I really, 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 really do. Because I really, 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 really don't want you guys doing this. Do not, I repeat, do not try to contact La Llorona. Just don't do it. Just please, please, just don't, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, for me and for all of Mexico and everything else, do not contact La Llorona. Just please don't. Okay? Okay. I love you. Anyway, similar folklores, the Chumash of Southern California have their own connection to La Llorona. Chumash mythology mentions La Llorona when explaining Nawa. I'm not pronouncing that. Creature of the other world called the Maxula or Mamismus. Mythology says that the Chumash believe in both the I can't pronounce that and La Llorona, and specifically hear the Macala cry up in the trees. The Macala cry is considered an omen of death. The Macala Max, the Maxuala is described as looking like a cat with skin of a rawhide leather. Creepy. Outside the Americas, La Llorona bears a resemblance to the ancient Greek tale of the demonic demigoddess Lamia. Hera, Zeus's wife, learned of his affair with Lamia and, out of anger, killed the children of Lamia had with Zeus. Out of jealousy over the loss of her own children, Lamia steals another woman's children. In Greek mythology, Medea killed the two children fathered by Jason, one of the Argonauts, after he left her for another woman. Now, I don't know about you guys, but if I start talking about Greek mythology, my sister will be out here like that. But I'm just saying, don't mess with the Greeks. Sorry, I have a message from my sister at the respond. Okay. Just don't do it. You see a guy that you think could be Zeus, or you have a feeling could be Zeus, just don't do it. Just don't do it. My videos are not for children, so I will be smoking a cigarette. Anyway, though, you just people. That's one thing that gets me is people just don't care. They make fun of all the things that go bump in the night. And then when that thing goes bump in the night, rips off your arms, oh, it's all of a sudden real and matters. But no, right now, just everybody wants to make fun of it. Sorry, guys. Anyway, I tracked off because I was messaging. But just, you don't mess with the Greeks. You really don't. Roman, Greek, Egyptian, just don't fuck with the gods. Just don't do it. Now it says encounters. A boy and his family were sitting near a creek between Mora and Guadalupita in New Mexico when they saw the form of a tall, thin woman. She quickly seemed to float over the water and up the hill out of sight until she returned a little later even closer to them. The family had suspicions that she was La Llorona, so they went to the shore to see if there were footprints, and there were none. They believed they saw La Llorona. Another encounter occurred when a band of brothers left their ranch in Off de la Vaca to head towards the Villa Real de Santa Fe. On their way, they encountered a tall woman wearing a black tapello, tapello and a black net to cover her face. Sorry, guys. Now, two of the boys who were riding in the front seat of the wagon stated that the spirit sat right between them. She remained with the boys until they decided to return home. This is where she uttered, "I will visit you again someday when you argue with your mother." This tale corresponds with the action of La Llorona showing up when children are misbehaving and is a warning to children to be respectful. Again, no, you don't, just, no, just behave, children. Any children watching this, just behave. You shouldn't be watching this, but behave. Just don't let La Llorona, just don't do it. Just no, no mas. No mas misbehaving. No. I do want to take this little bit of time to say that I do have a podcast with my friend, like I said in my other YouTube video, but now you have a picture of me. I found a better streaming site for it. But anyway, I have another podcast up with my best friend, Zombie Queen Jazzy. She has a YouTube channel. And we do serial killers and scary stories and urban legends and things that go bump in the night. You should check it out. It's called the Twisted Rabbit Hole. I will also be doing this, my YouTube, and some other stuff. Just because I love the things that go bump in the night. I love being able to talk about them. I love just everything about it. And it's just awesome. It's a passion for me. I do work a lot, and I won't deny that. I work a lot. I get 2 days off, and on Fridays and Saturdays, I don't get off till midnight. But that's why I call it the witching hour with Twisted Rabbit, is because I love talking at 2 to 4 about the creepy things. I don't get nightmares from them. It's just, I love it. And it preoccupies my time in between the podcasts with her and doing this. And you guys really should go check out the podcast. It's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on a lot of places. And it's just called a Twisted Rabbit Hole. Sorry, I'm um trying to convince her to make YouTube videos too. So yeah. But yeah, you guys should check out our podcast and our YouTube videos and stuff like that. It's fun. You guys get to interact with us, and you guys get to be here while we do this, and it's fun for all of us. I mean, we barely both have any viewers, but yeah, check them both out and have fun. Sorry for the train. Now, anyway, in popular culture, La Llorona first appeared in the film Rene Cardona's 1960 La Llorona, based on the tale of La Llorona, a tale of a family cursed by the evil spirit of Luisa, the story's weeping woman. The film was shot in a location in Guanajuato, Mexico, or something like that. Sorry, like I said, I'm bad at pronouncing. The plot of the 1961 film The Curse of the Crying Woman, La Maldición de La Llorona involves the resurrection of the spirit of La Llorona. La Llorona also appears as the main antagonist of the Mexican animated film La Leyenda de La Llorona. There, La Llorona is portrayed as more of a sympathetic character whose children died in an accident rather than at their mother's hands. I did. I did. Okay, I'm sorry, but in all aspects of La Llorona, I've never heard of her kids getting in an accident and dying at their mother's hands. That's what makes her the weeping woman, but, nobody sticks with the urban legends anymore, but whatever. In 1995, Mexican playwright Josefina Lopez wrote Unconquered Spirits, which uses the myth of La Llorona as a plot device. The play has two time periods. Act 1 takes place in the 16th century Mexico after the Spanish occupations. Here Lopez takes inspiration from La Malinche variations, with the heroine represented as a young Aztec girl brutally raped by a Spanish friar. She gave birth to twin boys as a result, and drowned them in the river to protect them rather than from spite. Act 2 takes place in 1938 amidst the San Antonio pecan shellers strike. A widowed mother who works at the pecan factory has an abortion after being raped by her white supervisor, resulting in a visit from La Llorona to give her the strength to fight back against her attackers. The play is noted for its sympathetic portrayal of La Llorona as a victim of oppression. I like that one. I do. Nancy Farmer's 2002 science fiction novel The House of the Scorpion and his 2013 sequel The Lord of Opium has a main character, Matt, make several references to La Llorona, often retelling the story to the other main characters of or during self-reflection. La Llorona appeared as the first antagonist in the 2005 plot episode of the TV series Supernatural. Sarah Shahi portrayed Constance Welch, the woman in white, who, after divorcing her husband's infidelity, took the lives of her two children by drowning them in the bathtub at her home, and soon after took her own life by jumping off the bridge into a river. The ghost was known to haunt the Centennial Highway, hitching rides from unknown motorists, mostly men, and killing them she deemed unfaithful. The main character, Sam Winchester, destroys her ghost by crashing his car into the house where she used to live, finally facing the ghost of her children. The woman in white was destroyed by her own guilt for killing them. And I have to say, I'm sorry, I have to put this out there, guys. I do. I love Supernatural, and I know most of you do too. Supernatural is an amazing show, and I love the way that they did that. It was amazing. And the fact that they brought her back in season 15, end of season 14, beginning of season 15, was amazing. Because she was really good. And I love the fact that they went back and did like the recap of the whole entire first season and everything like that. Like, it was amazing. I have yet to finish season 15, and I am really sad it is ending, but I do like how they stuck to a lot of the ghost stories and altering it for their own versions, but they stuck to their research for the most part, and it was really good. Now, the 2006 Mexican horror film Kilometer 31 is inspired by the legend of La Llorona. The main evil entity in this film is based on her and her story. The 2006/7 saw a trilogy of a low-budget movie based on La Llorona: The River, The Legend of La Llorona, Revenge of La Llorona, and The Curse of La Llorona, not to be confused with 2019's The Curse of La Llorona, which would be the one that goes with Insidious. No, or not Insidious, sorry, The Conjuring. La Llorona appeared as the primary antagonist in the 2007 movie Jocoel, and has also been the theme character of several Universal Studios haunted houses during the annual Halloween event, Halloween Horror Nights, at both the Hollywood and Orlando locations. I know. I really do want to go to Universal Studios during Halloween Horror Nights because Halloween is my favorite holiday. And as you can already tell, it's because I'm spooky and creepy, and yeah, I like Halloween. In April 2019, James Wan, Gary Doberman, and Emily Gladstone produced a film titled The Curse of La Llorona. The film is the sixth installment to the Conjuring universe. It was released April 19, 2019 by New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Pictures. The film was directed by Michael Chavez and stars Linda Cardellini, Raymond Cruz, Patricia Velquez, and Marisol Ramirez, who portrays the ghost. And I will tell you guys, I have watched it, and that is one of my favorite takes on La Llorona. It was amazing. The cursed mark and everything was just amazing by it. Now, it looks like they have a song on La Llorona. It is a Mexican folk song. The song, sorry, give me a minute. My page decided to refresh. Now, it says the article, okay, La Llorona, the Weeping Woman, is a Mexican folk song. They originated in the Istum and Juantepec, whatever. Its origins are obscure, but composer Andres Genestroso in about 1941 popularized the song and may have added to the existing verses. Originally, the lyrics come from the ancient legend of the same name La Llorona, popular in Mexico and South America. But because most of the verses of the song are composed during the Mexican Revolution, 1910 to 1920, or later, the storylines differ when comparing the song and the legend usually. The singer only takes a few verses of the version below are some of them and some English translations. Now, it says here is the melody of La Llorona is on public domain. Okay, let's play this. That's not something I want to hear coming from a music box. Okay, I personally am just gonna point out that that was creepy, and I personally don't want to, like I said, ever hear that coming from a music box. Yeah. Ooh, okay. A little bit creeped out by that guy. Sorry. Now I'm going to read part of the Spanish one, but I'll read all of the English one because I'm not good at Spanish. So it says, "Salías del templo un día llorona cuando al pasar yo te vi. Salías de I felt like I shouldn't keep reading that in Spanish. Anyway, it says, "You came out of the temple one day, La Llorona, I saw you when you passed. You came out of the temple one day, llorona. I saw you when you passed. You know what? We're just gonna see if it's on YouTube because, yeah, I don't feel like I should keep singing that or saying it myself. So we're gonna look it up. It's wonderful that I can broadcast and also go on here and look. I don't feel like it would be on here, but it could be. Okay. Well, here's one. Let's see if it works. If it's the same tune and everything. After the ad. Sorry, guys. Just the same melody. Yep, it's the same song, guys. Matching up with the lyrics. I do not own the rights to this music. This is on YouTube. You guys can find it. Ay de mí, llorona, 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 llévame al río. Ay de mí, llorona, 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 llévame al río. Tápame con tu reversa, llorona, porque me muero de frío. Tápame con tu reversa, llorona, porque me muero de frío. So, guys, yes, that matched clearly. And yes, that was the actual lyrics. So, yes, that was creepy. That was super creepy, but I loved it. So, that is the tale of La Llorona. Now, I beg of you guys, I have to wait a minute because the sister came back out and she, like I said, does not like me talking about it. Get off my screen. Sorry, bugs. Well, this is a good, yeah. Anyway, so that was the tale of La Llorona. Now I beg of you, please, please, do not try to contact her. And please, me ojos en mi eyes. No más acting up, okay? I seen that. That was creepy. Anyway, I love you guys. My creepy, twisted little people. Come visit me on my podcast, along with Zombie Queen Jazzy. Like and follow if you want more. And even if you don't, I'm still going to do it. Because I love doing it. So, to all my creepy little rabbits and my twisted people, you have a wonderful night. And, as always, see you in your nightmares.